rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the national anthem sung by Gigi Corbell and Orly Kinsella.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really honored to welcome you here today as we celebrate. This is the first official celebration after our 150th anniversary. I'm particularly proud to be here today as a graduate of Glenfield School. This is my home school. I'm really glad to be a part of it with all of our wonderful students and the kids here at Glenfield School. We're celebrating 150 years of tremendous achievement by our community. This is, as we all know, we live here, this is a great place. You travel around the country, sometimes around the world, we get comments from people, oh, you know Montclair, you know, this person lives here, or, you know, the citizens did this, or the town achieved this. We know for our diversity, for the great talent that's here, for our schools, for our library, for our museum, our many festivals, jazz, film. This is a community that continues to grow and thrive, and I'm certainly proud to be a part of it, and certainly to serve as a Montclair native, to serve as its mayor for a number of years. I want to do a couple of things. I want to give some recognition and appreciation to a few people. First to Dr. Petrino and all the folks at Glenfield School. The inimitable Dan Gill. All the students here at Glenfield School, particularly those who are not. I want to recognize our Board of Education President. There's Laura back there, Laura Board Robinson is here as well. Mr. Timothy Stafford, our town manager. Our chief of police. And a special guest, Assemblyman Tom Giblin. Colleagues are here this afternoon. I see Councilor Herlock, Councilor Russo, and Councilor McMahon. Did I miss anybody? Again, this is a great occurrence. I think when I think about this community, and again, having grown up here, and how much we've matured as a community and evolved, we've become bigger. Not population-wise, as an aside, at one point we had 44,000 people living here, we now have 38,000. So while we have slipped in population, I think in terms of our maturity as a community, our embracing of different concepts and ideas and cultures, we've really matured, and I'm proud of that. And so without any further ado, I'll give it over to the real council so they can continue the festivities. Thank you very much.
Call this meeting to order. Today Today is a momentous day in our history. We are declaring ourselves free and clear of West Bloomfield. Our first order of business is to read in the record the act that will establish the Township of Montclair. What the audience will hear are the boundaries of our community, the citizen rights and responsibilities of our citizens, the process of who shall act as our judges of election and clerk of elections. You will also hear about the financial details of establishing our township. We have provided these sections as you came in. Then we will open the meeting to public comments. We begin with section 1. An act to set off the township of Bloomfield in the county of Essex, a new township to be called the Township of Montclair. Be it enacted by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey, that all that portion of the Township of Bloomfield, known as the second election district of said township in line west of a line running through said township as follows. Beginning at a point in the center of the stone arch and bridges over the stream, crossing the road west of and near the residence of Henry Stuckey on the Orange Line. Then on from said starting point in a straight line about with 31 degrees, 5 minutes east to a point in the Passaic County line, which point is 504 over on said county line. From the center of the ward running in front of the residence of Cornelius Van Houten shall be and hereby is set off in the township of Bloomfield in the county of Essex, and made a separate township to be known by the name of the Township of Montclair. Let's now hear section 2 read by Miss Roden.
And be it enacted that the inhabitant of the Township of Montclair shall be, and they are hereby constituted a body politic and corporate by the name of the inhabitants of the Township of Montclair in the county of Essex, and shall be entitled to all the rights, powers, privileges, and advantages, and shall be subject to all the regulations of government. Such liabilities to which the inhabitants of other townships in said county of Essex are or may be entitled or subject by the laws of this state.
Let's now hear section 3 read by Miss Knapp.
And it be enacted that the inhabitants of said Township of Montclair shall hold their first town meeting at the lecture room of Presbyterian Church in the Township of Montclair on the third Tuesday of April 8th, 168, and that thereafter their annual town meetings shall be held on the second Tuesday of March of each and every year, that all their town meetings shall vote by ballot until be otherwise determined by according to law, and that all of the provisions and the sections of an act entitled and to authorizing the inhabitants of several memberships of the state to vote by ballot at their town meetings approved by March 20th, 2nd, 8th. By the provisions of any act or acts from the operation of which the Township of Glenfield has been any provisions or exceptions contained by therein been specially accepted, shall apply to be in force in said Township of Montclair for and after the time this act shall go into effect, the same as if the Township of Bloomfield had not been specifically accepted therein.
Let's now hear section 4 read by Miss Moore.
And to be enacted that the persons who shall judge as the judges of election and clerk of election at the first town meeting of the inhabitants of said township of Montclair shall be chosen in the manner provided by law, in the event of the absence of the judges of election, the collector, the assessor, and the clerk of the township.
Let's now hear section 5 by Mr. Goyle.
And be it enacted that Robert Lee Herring, Graham Wheeler, and Philip Douglas shall be, and they are hereby appointed commissioners on the part of said township of Montclair, to meet with 3 other commissioners of the said township of Glenfield, which last said commissioners shall be appointed by the town committee of said township of Glenfield, previous to the 4th Tuesday in April, 1868. That said meeting of said commissioners shall take place at the post office in Bloomfield, in said township of Bloomfield, at 10 o'clock in the forenoon of the fourth Tuesday in April, 1868. That the said commissioners shall then, and there proceed by writing signed by a majority of those present, to allot and divide between the townships all property and money on hand or due, in proportion to the taxable property and the retables as taxed by the assessor at the last assessment. And to us certain the just proportions of debts, if any there should be, to be paid by the inhabitants of the township of Montclair, and that if any of the said commissioners on the part of either said townships should neglect or refuse to meet as aforesaid, those assembled may proceed to make the said division, and to the said proportion of the debts to be paid by the inhabitants of the said township of Montclair, and the decisions of the majority of those present shall be final and conclusive. And the said commissioners, or a majority of them, shall and may sell and execute a deed of the township at his house farm, which deed shall be deemed, taken to convey, be good and sufficient. The title thereto, times, or place or places as a majority of those assembled as aforesaid may think proper.
Let's now hear Section 6, read by Mr. Monroe.
And be it enacted that the said commissioners shall, when they have completed the said allotment and division, and shall have ascertained the proportion of the said debts to be paid by the inhabitants of the said township of Montclair, in writing as aforesaid, prepare forthwith a duplicate of the same, and deliver one of the said writings to the clerk of the said township of Glenfield, to be by him filed and preserved, and the other to the clerk of the said township of Montclair for the same purpose.
Let's now hear Section 7, read by Mr. Thompson.
And it be enacted that the assessor of the said township of Montclair shall have power and is hereby required and enjoined to add the said proportion of the said rents, when the same shall have been aforecertained and aforesaid, together with 10 per centium of the said proportion to the amount of taxes that may be otherwise by law required to be raised in the said township of Montclair for the year or years in which such debt or interest thereon shall become due and payable, to the assessed and collected in the same manner and at the same time as the state and county taxes for said year or years said township of Montclair, and the collector for said township of Montclair is hereby to the collector of the township of Glenfield for the use of the said township of Glenfield out of the first monies that shall come to his hand after deducting sufficient to pay the state and county taxes to be paid by said township of Montclair for such year or years. And he shall take the receipts of the collector of said township of Glenfield, therefore, and the inhabitants of the said township of Montclair shall thereupon be free of discharge and released from all liabilities by reason of the debt aforesaid.
Let's now hear Section 8, read by Ms. Rosen.
And be it enacted that the sums of money voted to be raised for township purposes at the last annual town meeting of the township of Glenfield shall not be assessed and collected in full in assessor of said township, shall assess such amount so proportional reduced, and such assessments when made shall be as valid and effective in law as if the amount so assessed had been the sum voted to be raised at the annual meeting aforesaid. And nothing in this act shall affect the election of any township officers made at such meetings, wherever said officers shall not reside in the new township hereby created.
Let's now hear Section 9, read by Ms. Moore.
And be it enacted that the persons now aided or maintained in said township of Glenfield by virtue of any laws of law to the poor shall hereafter be chargeable under said laws to said township of Montclair and Glenfield accordingly, as the settlement or residence of such poor persons may have been within the limits or of either townships respectively at the time when said persons become chargeable as aforesaid.
Let's now hear Section 10, read by Mr. Murrows. And
Be it enacted that this act shall be a public act and shall take effect on the third Tuesday in April now next ensuing.
We are now officially the Township of Montclair. May we last another 150 years. Now we open the meeting to public questions and comments.
Now that we are a township of Montclair, I hope that you will answer this question. My name is Sienna. What do you plan to do if the theft of Miss Mulligan's chickens continues? Everyone in town knows she's the person to get fresh eggs from. And the night riders, what about them? They're galloping at full speed through the streets, and then they let their horses roam among the gardens of innocent civilians. What do you plan to do about this, for it will not go on any longer?
I hear this problem. We plan to make a curfew so the night riders don't cause any more problems in the town.
We also plan to make a set of laws against this and hire a constable to make sure the laws are enforced. By doing this and hiring a constable, that all costs money, and that will raise the taxes even more.
Next speaker, please.
Thank you.
My attention that there is currently no public school in Montclair. As a result, my children cannot get an education because I have no money to let them into a private school. If they cannot get an education earlier on, this will mess up when their education later on in their life. What will you do to prevent this problem?
Opening a public school is very important for our town, so we plan to open a school from ages 8 to 15 so that any citizen of Montclair can attend school no matter how much money they have.
Hello, Council. What about the staff and maintenance? I don't have children of my own, but I know very well that they would appreciate a decent place to learn with decent people to teach them. What will you do about this?
Well, of course, we want our school to have good quality, so we need to take time to find the right staff, the right teacher, and the right supplies, and a good place to put our school.
We already have perfectly fine private schools, and your kids should already have the money to go to these schools. Why raise the taxes if we already have high-end schools that your kids can attend?
Thank you for the question.
Hello, my name is Orly Kinsella. I'd like to expand on what the first person spoke about. We've never had these kinds of problems until these immigrants moved into the community. For example, Irish people are coming into Montclair and getting tipsy at the taverns and causing a lot of ruckus and damage. What do you plan to do?
I saw this with my own eyes. One solution I have is immigrants will have to carry paperwork proving that they are employed or live in Montclair. A curfew will also be set in place to prevent immigrants from getting tipsy late at night and disturbing the townspeople of Montclair. I will also plan on creating a volunteer police force to patrol the township of Montclair to prevent these problems.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Did I hear you correctly? Do you have paperwork to show that you live in this town? Such came as immigrants, were they all good people?
We are planning on hiring a constable because not only Irish people and or immigrants are the ones who are getting tipsy. And also, None of us do have paperwork on us, so we are planning on enforcing a law about that, and we will have a vote soon.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Asha. One problem we have in Montclair are fires. There was a fire on my street that burned down my barn. The entire thing was destroyed, as well as everything in it. We can't grow as a community if we have constant fires. And we get terrible windstorms that could blow the fire from barn to barn. What do you plan to do if these fires continue?
I understand your problem, but every time a government is formed, the people expect the government to do everything. Why not try to create your own volunteer fire department and educate people about how to prevent fires during certain times, including winters, and how to use cannons correctly so they don't start fires.
I agree with Asher, as that would raise the taxes even more. We will have a volunteer fire department put in place.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Town Council. I am here to talk to you about the overpopulation and land problem. It seems that the problem is very serious, and the problem is escalating, so soon it will be very dire. One problem is that my neighbor, Mr. Jones, keeps buying land, and it is feeding into my farm. My farm is very successful and provides most of the fruits and vegetables for this town. If he keeps buying land, my farm will soon be no more, and the town might struggle with starvation. I think that packing about 2,000 people into 4 square miles is not a good idea right now when people are hungry for land. I think at the rate this is going, our town will not turn out to be much of a success. As our town grows, we will need to find a solution to this problem. Another problem is more than 2/3 of this town is farmland, and as the population grows, more of the town will be turned to civilization. That means that the population will increase. When the population increases, that means that hotels, restaurants, and other stores will have to be built. I think we should create a population limit for this town. The final problem is Montclair has limited land, and at the rate this is going, we will have no more in 2 weeks. I think that you should set a limit to the amount of land people in Montclair can buy. I want to make sure that all the town's money is spent on a good cause, not a bad one. I think our town should stay how it is and not turn into a crazy, bustling city.
Well, I agree with your solution on overpopulation. I believe that we should put a limit on population and automatically also put the amount of land plot down because the less people, the less plot.
I do agree with Shay, and I think that to solve your farmland problem, we'll set a certain area for the town and the civilization, and we will set a certain amount of acres that one person could buy. Thank you.
Back to what you said and what Shay said, we will be setting aside farmland, but we will also put in place a rule that lets you keep your land so people can buy into it. And we will also make sure that there's an extent of how many people are moving into this town until further notice.
Thank you. Public comments and questions are now closed. I move we end this meeting. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.
How about a round of applause for the students? Obviously, when we went into this, we didn't know much, right? And we have learned some things, that mustaches are really cool. Hats are really important if you're going to look important, right? We thank them for volunteering. This is all volunteer. The township called me up. Yeah. I think it was January. And I opened it up to student volunteers, because anybody could volunteer, and these are the guys that said, yeah, we're willing to put in some more time and effort. There's no grade that's associated with this. There's no educational note in their record that says that this is what they did. But they were very eager to participate because I think because of the parents of this community and also because of the schools of this community, they have recognized the importance of the government in their lives, and they have recognized the importance of the government, obviously, as it provides them with an education. And so I am so pleased to have them do this and to take charge. The other thing I would like to say is that we have one question in my class that we asked for 3 years. I'm lucky enough to teach these guys for 3 years. They may not think so, but I do. And the basic question that we teach is, how do people organize themselves? And we learn over time how people have, as communities, as civilizations, as countries, have tried to figure out how we best govern and how we best provide the services to the people, while maintaining that people do have responsibilities and that there are consequences for people who don't meet those responsibilities. And so we've looked at a lot of civilizations to this in 6th grade. We'll continue to look at American civilization. But what you can see here is this is a republic. Notice, this town was 6 minutes old and people were complaining. And we don't know that, but we could probably assume that, right? And I'm sure the town council would probably agree with me that that's probably what would have happened. I know the mayor came on African American Career Day and spoke to my class, and I believe he told Mr. Von Hoffman, who's the math teacher in House Gill, he said, boy, these kids are just like their parents. I said, that's great, good. And what we learned about the word republic is that it is a mess. And it was intended. I think that it was intended to be a mess. I don't think it was intended to be neat. Because if it was intended to be neat, then we would have an emperor, and then we would all be the subjects. And what I mean by a mess is that there are varying and conflicting ideas at all times in our society, and that is the value of our government. And I think we lose that sometimes. I think we forget about the fact that it is important for people of varying degrees of opinion to come together and speak with each other about those ideas, and to come to some kind of understanding of what the other side believes and what they can do to at least make some sense of it and to make good policy and good law. So it's 1868, and what you see on this stage wouldn't have existed in 1868. You wouldn't see any women up here, and so this republic has grown. It's been very painful. African Americans are on this stage today. You would not have seen them, although they had been recently emancipated in 1865. So this is only 3 years after the Civil War. But what you would recognize in this town, I think, is this sense of hope and this sense of a new beginning. And I think that's what this town has always been about. It's never been about ducking the controversy. It's never been about avoiding the unpleasant conversation. I think what this town has been about since its inception is to try to make sense of how we bring diverse people together, to work together, and to learn together, and to grow together, and to have fun together. And so we should all celebrate our town and its 150 years of doing that, and we should all look forward to 150 more years of growth in those areas. When this country was founded, they talk about, the beacon on the hill. I think Montclair is that. And I would hope you feel, as citizens of this town, affirmed in those beliefs, and each and every day that you operate here in this town, you will feel good about where you live and the people you will live with. So thank you. Young people are going. You guys can go out into your places. So we have some young people who have done some research on your community, and I would hope that you would engage them. They're going to challenge you to see what you know about your town, or to educate you about your community. And so they've researched various aspects of it, and they would love to share with you in the lobby that information. And to the parents of the young people here, thank you so much. I always say to you, thank you for your support of public education. It means so much to me and my colleagues, because in this day and age, that sometimes the teachers in public schools don't feel that, but I would say that in this town, this is something that we've always felt, and thank you so much. And now we have ended the meeting, and thank you very much. And now you can go out into the lobby and engage and have some cookies and punch.